So we're just gonna go through some basic stuff on how to use Qidi slicer. I'm gonna slice two parts and then I'm just gonna talk you through it. So we're gonna print the Dyno Jig Rev 3. Some of the parts have been already sliced and I'm just gonna slice the last two. First off, selecting my print settings. In this case, I want it to be a 0.16 structural. And what does that mean? Well, that means that my inflow is going to be higher. I have higher perimeters as well. My filament is going to be PCABS. And then my printer is the Simple Start XP3. My supports need to be on for support and forces only. That means that it's going to only add support where I tell it to, using the left hand side bar here. And for this one, we're not going to add brim because there's going to be so much support and raft layers that brim won't be necessary. But if there was a part that needed brim, then I will add brim. So let's go ahead and do one of the parts. So let's do the left hand side shell. So as you can see here, this shell starts vertically, but I don't like it like that because I need to print all of this with a lot of detail, right? So when you need parts that they don't really have a good surface to print, what you should do is try to angle it at 45. 45, it's the maximum overhang angle that you can have without needing supports. So like I said before, if you move it up, it will move freely without really clicking anywhere. Whereas if you are touching these little lines, it will actually click to a set angle. So let's click it at 45. Okay, now that we have it at 45, I'm going to proceed and go with the supports. So I select the part, then on this left side here, I click on this item here. And what I like to do is, I would select the overhang angle, put 45. Now I would not enforce them. I just want to see what the areas are. So the areas that are 45 or above would be highlighted in light purple. What I do to speed up the process of adding supports is I would use automatic painting. So you let the automatic painting do its thing, and then you compare it with the light purple overhang angles. So as you see, it added supports in certain areas. However, there's areas that would still not print that great if we don't put supports. And also because the part is tilted, it still needs some sort of structure to hold it and prevent it from tipping over. So let's go ahead and add more supports. For instance, I like to add a lot of support in this area because this is the beginning of our print. So we want to make sure that it's well supported. I will add some supports here for stability. Now you don't need to fill up the entire purple area, as our machine is pretty good to make some overhangs. You just need to add some to have some stability. And I'll add one here, not because I need it, but it's more for support of the part. So that like when these supports come out, it will help the part stand upright. Maybe not this one. There's already enough support on this side. Okay, so now I have added my supports. Now let's use this one to prevent some seam painting. So I don't want any seams on this part where the gear selector will slide through. So using the right click, I'm gonna make all of this red. And then make sure that like there's no enforcement of seam on that area. To remove any of the red or purple selections, you use Shift and left click. Alright. So now that's done. Now that I have painted my supports, I'm gonna go and add a raft. So to do that, I'm gonna select my part, Okay, then I'm gonna use a right click, go to add settings, support material, and then click on raft layers. Okay, and then on this menu on the right, you're gonna see that this appears, and then you're gonna click here, 1, 2, 3 raft layers. Okay, now I have my raft layers added. Now let's do the last bit, which will be these parts. So similarly, this is a complicated part, doesn't really have a way to be put together in a good orientation. So we're just gonna go ahead and angle it at 45 using this tool. Okay. Now that we have it in that position, we're gonna proceed and add supports. Same deal, we're gonna select 45 degrees, automatic painting, and then just supplement the automatic painting with some extra painting depending on the areas. So in this one you did a pretty good job. You can see that like most of the purple is selected. I'm just gonna go ahead and select the first edge because it's the first part of the print. Add some extra ones in this area here. That's good. Some here. Some here. Alright. I don't want any supports in this area because of this thing being there. So what I'll do is I'll add some on this side. Some here. Some here. Some here. And these are all for stability. Then I might need one here. And then one here. And there you go. That's it. You're all done. Now for this one, I don't want the seams on the insides, right? Nor on the hook. So what I'll do for that is using the seam painting, right? And saying do not put any seam in this area. Do not put any seam here. No seam here. And no seam here. Oh, and also on the bearing. I don't want any seams whatsoever in here. Cool. Alright. So now that's done, I'm going to go add my raft. Three layers should do. Cool. So now that all the things are added, we're going to try to arrange it in a way that makes sense because ABS, it's a very complicated material to print. I want the small objects to not be far from the center of the bed just because of the poor bed addition that we have seen before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to angle these ones with the overhang angle facing towards the center of the bed because that's where the bed is normally more constantly hot. Okay, so I'll do that. That way all the support structure will be in the hotter side of the bed. I will do the same with this. Alright. And now we're going to put this one in this area. We're going to put that one there. And I think that one there will do. You click on slice. You wait a little bit. So what you would do is just go through here and make sure that like it's what you want, right? So you can see here that like this is solid plastic, right? Because we have 100% info. Now if I didn't want this to be 100% plastic, I could just change these areas here, right? And make it a bit different. Or just change the info for this specific part. But it seems good enough for me right now. So I think we're gonna leave it like that. And hopefully it prints well. So now, these angles seem a bit steep. So if you want to decrease the branch angle, we can go to our print settings, we go to support material, and then at the bottom we can decrease the maximum branch angle. I'm just gonna say 40 because I didn't like how steep those angles were on the organic supports. And then we slice again. Okay, now that the slicing is done, we check, and fair enough, you can see that like now some of these angles have changed. Now the maximum angle is 40, which is great. The print seems fine to me, so now we can go ahead and export it. So you here on the lower right hand side, you can see the information. You can know how much filament you're going to need, the cost of the part, and the print time. So we're going to click on export G-code, and now the G-code file will be generated. Change the name to whatever you want. So this is Dino Jig Rev 3. Okay, so now we select the right folder. And we save it. So once it has been exported, we're gonna go to Octo Everywhere, and we are gonna upload our print into the printer.